Well, what's going on, Cardinal Nation? Well, man, rough game today. Offense was pretty quiet. Losing in this one today, 4-1 to the Philadelphia Phillies in the second of three. And, well, after the shutout last night, uh, offense was very quiet again in this one. We had 9 hits, but we stranded 6 runners on base and ground into uh, 5 double plays. Yeah, 5 double plays. Uh, and that I think is actually tied for the second most ever in Cardinals team history in a single game. So we had plenty of chances, but only got 1 run on the board. So Philly starter Christopher Sanchez, who was an All-Star last year, was very good. 6 innings, gave up just a run. Walked 2, and only struck out 3. So the Phillies will take an early 2-0 lead in the top of the first, as he'll get the first 2 outs, but then single to Bryce Harper on an 8-pitch at bat, and then he would walk Kyle Schwarber on a 9-pitch at bat, and then a RBI 2-run double by Nick Castellanos would score Schwarber and Harper to make it 2-0 Phillies. Then in the bottom of the first, we had a chance. Lars Nootbaar at the leadoff walk, but then Luke and Baker, the DH, would ground into a double play. So on Miles Michaelis, hoping for a much better outing than his last outing last Sunday against Boston. And, well, it was definitely much better. We had a chance in the bottom of the third. So we had 3 hits, and with the bases loaded, trying to potentially tie the game or take the lead, but Luke and Baker would round into a second double play to keep us off the board. Michaelis pitching into the 5th would then give up an RBI double to Bryson Stott, scoring Brandon Marsh to make it 3-0 Phillies. And then Thomas Saggese would ground into another double play to keep us off the board. Before that, Victor Scott would reach first on a error by the second baseman Stott. So that would keep it 3-0, and Michaelis would then go 5 innings, give up 3 runs, so much better than his last outing. He would strike out 6 on 82 pitches, and then Steven Matz, who's been really good in relief, would pitch a scoreless 6th inning. Then in the bottom of the 6th, Luke and Baker would have a 1-out double, and then Wills Contreras would put us on the board to make it 3-1. But Arenado and Donovan would be out to end the inning. Then the top of the 7th, Alec Bohm would reach first on an infield hit. And then Trey Turner with an RBI single to make it 4-1 Phillies. And then Sanchez, still on the mound in the 7th, would then give up a walk to Pedro Pajes. Victor Scott would then have a base hit, and then that would knock the pitcher Sanchez out of the game. And then Nolan Gorman, pinch hitting just off the IL, hasn't played since the first week of the season with a hamstring injury. So in his first at-bat facing a new pitcher, on the first pitch actually, he would fly out. And with 2 runners on, then Lars Nootbaar would be out on a call and strike 3, which did not really look like a strike. So Steven Matz would then get 1 out in the 8th, would allow a single and a double, and then pitch in the 8th, making his Cardinals debut, right-handed pitcher Rodri Munoz. Not his major league debut. He pitched last year mostly as a starter with the Miami Marlins, pitched in 18 games, 17 of them starts, just a 2-7 record and a 6.53 ERA, in which he gave up 26 home runs last year in only 17 starts. So, and just got called up from the Cardinals from AAA, in which Chris Roycroft sent back down to the minors and would strike out 2 batters in his Cardinals debut. So a nice debut for Rodri Munoz. Like I said, spent last year with Miami, He's only 24 years old. Uh, and yeah, Cardinals picked him up in the offseason, I think, like off waivers. So, and then John King with the 1-2-3 ninth inning. And so down by 3 entering the bottom of the ninth, needed quite a bit of work to do to extend the game. And it was a 1-2-3 ninth inning facing a very nasty reliever, Jose Alvarado. So, yeah, rough game. 3 hits for Phillies right fielder Nick Castellanos. He would drive in 2 of the 4 runs. So, Bo would strike out 10 Phillies batters, but those 5 double plays, that was the difference. Could have been a lot different if we didn't run into five double plays. So, yeah, definitely a disappointing game. So, could look to win the series tomorrow afternoon. It'll be left-hander Matthew Liberatore getting the start against right-hander, one of the best in baseball, Zach Wheeler for the Phillies, who has 25 strikeouts, 5 walks, but Liberatore has 11 strikeouts, no walks this season. So, but Libby's ERA is over 5. So, Wheeler, who finished runner-up in Cy Young voting last year. So, it would be huge if we could win that game and win that series against a very good team. So, also, don't think I mentioned, but Cardinals shortstop Mason Wynn placed on the IL with back spasms. Of course, he was removed early from last night's game with back spasms and was hoping he could avoid IL and just be out for a couple games, but unfortunately he'll be out for at least 10 days with that back injury, so that's too bad. But Nolan Gorman's back, so he'll be basically at second now, and Sajasi now the everyday shortstop, at least temporarily. So, anyway, till Sunday, comics per saying, go Cards.